There's one exercise that you can that just kind of share. It's different. It's like you can call it ego trip, or you can call it embellish or whatever. Or if we're in a different setting, just talking good-ish about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you can't do that with middle schoolers, but just talk about yourself in a very glorious way and embellish yourself. And there's a lot of examples in rap music where that happens, where it's just they just talk about themselves in a way that's very superhuman and very bigger than life, and bring language that's just that's just so embellishing who you are as a character, or who you think you may be. You know what I mean? Or you can make yourself an alter ego, and that's happened over and over and over and over again. And I always talk about the example was way back in the day with LL Cool J, I'm Bad. I'm Bad. It's a song you got called I'm Bad. And it's like just him. And that's like kind of almost the foundation of it. I mean, there's earlier songs, but then you could bring up like so many examples throughout the last 20 years. It's like crazy that you can kind of bounce off of that. So we call it ego trip or embellishing. Yeah. And it's usually fun, you get into it, Like, talk about yourself. Yeah, talk about yourself in a way. It's just like you feel like you're the best person. You're just like that dude or that girl. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, and there was one example that like Yona Harvey, who's a poet that we work with, sometimes had of like I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something like when Pittsburgh's cloudy, like I bring the sun to shine into people's lives, and it's like that's like kind of boasting, like. And you can, I don't know, come up with more examples like that.
Yeah. So it's just ways of just embellishing yourself. And there's examples in literature too, like that, where that happens.
But yeah.
I think of Julius Caesar in that speech where he's like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, because I'm gonna be an English teacher, so.
Yeah. Exactly.
Start writing
That's
stuff
exactly
down.
right.
Like, yeah, he was rapping.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of examples actually in Shakespeare where he embellishes, embellishes the character. You know what I mean? Othello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah, Midsummer Night's Dream. Yeah, exactly.
I'm the bird that does all this stuff.
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
There's a lot of examples in Shakespeare.
Okay,
yeah.
I know I'm teaching Shakespeare now when I get to that.
That made me start thinking like you go back into Shakespeare and start picking some things out. That's just a way of just. It's a fun way to get into it, and it's a fun way to get them into writing, particularly those who don't write. Haven't written. And it's a way for those who do write, to kind of bring up their skills a little bit more, or what have you. Usually though, when it's like a room full of like writers or cats who rhyme, particularly young cats, we try to like get them to write about other things. You know what I mean? So it's like, the challenge is because they've been writing from that point of view constantly, that, if it's not, is this, I'm this, and, I done this, I done flipped this, I done did this, that it's like, I know with me and Amos, we always try to get them to, why don't you talk about this, you know what I'm saying, or do a story rhyme, or do like, why don't you rhyme, talk about, and Amos is, just some politics, what have you. Does something upset you, you know what I mean, in your school, you just try to get them to like kind of open up.
What are 5 things you want to change about your school?
Yeah, something, just to get them thinking in a different way, so it can kind of work in that way too.
From there, let you get that out, and then
exactly.
It's like, okay, there's other things that
build upon it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you get the chance to self-aggrandize, so then you're okay with like moving to other things.
Exactly.
I feel like if anything, this is like a good entry point, and then from there you can start to move to other projects. Right? Exactly. Yeah. So it's like we did one about like talking about your neighborhood and where you're from.
That's the one we just did last week. Was like it's just like we just say I'm from, and they just like yell stuff out, their favorite foods. They're like.
Yeah. No, the one for the neighborhood was actually good. You know what I mean? It was actually real good. I remember I did this one. I'm thinking of another one that was on the CD about the father. And he was talking to his son.
Letter from the unborn.
Yeah.
Writing a letter for your like future children.
Yeah.
family members of.
Yeah, I did exercises. One, it was like a one-on-one exercise, and I had him write a letter to his unborn child, and he took it and made a song out of it.
Oh, that's cool.
And he was talking to his unborn child, you know what I mean? And it was very interesting. It actually amazed me when I heard it. I was like, whoa, like you took that whole idea of what I did.
I mean, that's on the CD like that I gave you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what is it? It's track 2. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a one-on-one exercise that I did with him. And I remember he came back and he read that. I mean, I was like, wow.
Mm.
You know? Because usually fulfilling, you just give an idea and then the writer, and they take it to a whole levels that you didn't think they were taking on. But that's maybe a different way. Just come up with different ways for them to like use their imagination a little bit more. You know, particularly for those who have written or those who rhyme. If someone who doesn't write or hasn't rhymed, that's a good point to start.
Yeah, give them a little
self-organizing,
formula,
yeah.
something to get started with.
Yeah, and I also feel like I always like to kind of do some sort of pre-writing like exercise that like helps either in a group and like, you know, just brainstorm together, people writing out lists or like, I don't know, whatever else you could think of to do to like build some ideas before you just be like, okay, now I'm gonna write this rhyme, and then you're like, I don't know, it can be too much to like start to try to figure out, you know, what you're gonna
Yeah, because now a lot of this generation doesn't really write too much, so you know. So
Unless they're right for tests.
yeah, it's tests or whatever. But even cats who are artists.
Yeah.
I mean, with technology, I know
Uh-huh.
cats with Blackberries and you know, whatever iPhones or the latest Sprint phone, whatever it is, the Hero phone, whatever, that are like constantly putting notes or they rhyme notes in their phone. And then like re-listen to it and the rhyme again, and so the actual writing doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So that's just something that you know we got to keep kind of up, pen and pad. You know what I'm saying? You know, even for myself, because I you know I'll write stuff on my FB page just as my writing assignment, but I don't really do pen and pad. You know what I mean? I got to keep myself on the pen and pad.
Yeah.
You know?
Although I guess I hope that like if you're using any type of writing,
It's cool.
It's cool to me. Yeah. I think it
It's
is
all good.
important though to be writing and I mean,
Thinking creatively,
I mean,
at
I'm
least.
sure people could do brilliant work even if they're just working with a voice recorder.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's like, to me, there's definitely something about working things out like in a page or if it's on a screen that it's like it allows you to think more abstractly.
It's more reflective, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
when you're just speaking, feel
You're not
like
seeing the words.
yeah, it's very centered with
Yeah.
yourself and your own perspective, whereas writing allows you to like get some
Yeah.
perspective to stand a little bit apart.
Stand back,
Yeah.
you see it from a certain. Yeah. No, as I said, it's just a flower.
So yeah, I was gonna. Are you familiar with the song? I was gonna play, and I brought some of the lyrics. That was just put together. J Electronica Exhibit C. Because this was gonna be my like, you know, professional example of a personal narrative. So. This song, it basically is a story about from going from homelessness to being like a burgeoning rap sensation, and his kind of journey from. So